What's good? What's good? This is Ace from Ace Corner Talk. Peace. Hope all is well. I don't know. Let me see. Before I get started, y'all see the title. Do you think employers should have a say in the employees' behavior when they're not at work? We're going to talk about this. We're going to go deep in and talk about this situation with employers and their employees. Should their behavior be monitored? Should what they do and what they say have an effect on their brand or their name of the employer? So we're going to talk about this. We're going to get deep into this conversation. And what I will do, I will open the panel for discussion. I will open Google panel for discussion to allow people to come in and be able to voice their opinion if they choose to. So, make sure the chat is up. Bam. It's up. Boom. Alright. So, chat is up. And if you wish or choose to add to this discussion, put your email in the chat and I will add you to the Hangout to be able to discuss on this particular topic. Now, this is something that needs to be talked about because when it comes to, now, I don't know if I'm not taking the defense of the employer and nor am I taking the defense of the employee. I'm in the middle just wanting a commentary on this because this type of stuff happens, right? And we got to understand when these things happen, how do you address it and how do you go about the situation? How do you find time or how do you address these type of issues? If I was an employer, right? And this is what we're going to do live. We're going to make a call live, right? To 2401 Ontario Street, zip code 44115. The number 216-420-4487. And we're going to ask for Miss Jennifer Gibson or Mr. John Shand. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to make this call live so we can hear how the employer deals with employees when they have did things, said things, have videos up, all kind of stuff about people. And this is something I've always been interested in. I mean, I'm opening Google Hangout for anybody who wants to join, not the call, but wants to join in and speak about it. I don't mind opening the panel to have people just convey their thoughts and what they think, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whatever. I'm not in disagreement about any of what I'm going to talk about with anyone. I'm not going to disagree with you or agree with you. Whatever your point of view is, that's what it is, and that's how I'll take it. But this discussion needs to be had because as people get on YouTube, I know they have careers, they have jobs, they have... So what do the employer think about them making slanderous videos about women, about men, children, people's families? See, these type of things, if an employer does not know about it, does it affect their business? Does it promote their brand? For instance, look at the ballpark behind me. That says the Indians, representing Cleveland Indians, right? What's up, George Garcia's? Peace. You see the sign, unity, no hate, bruh. What's good? Oh, man, my fault, man. I ain't know you had to work a double, man. You need to get that sleep in, my friend. Get that sleep in, bro. But I appreciate that support. That's unity, no hate. One love to you, my brother. That brother is a very faithful supporter of Logic Food, Clothing, Shelter, and Ace Corner Talk, man. I appreciate this, brother, really. So, George, you see what we're dealing with. We got the Indians, right? And I think the Indians ballpark is in Cleveland, Ohio, right? And I think the Cleveland Browns are there, and they suck this year. Well, actually, last year they sucked. They was giving away tickets for $1. That's how bad they suck. I think they won 1 or 2 games. They suck terribly. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. So I do have the Hangout open. So if you send your email in, I will add you to the Hangout so we can talk about this. Now, I'm going to speak on... we good, no doubt. So I'm going to speak on the behalf of the employer first. Then I will go to the employee second. This is how I'm going to address it. So now, as the employer, if I employ you to my business and you misrepresent the name of my business, now I'm just speaking of if I had my own business. I had my own business at one time, but like if I had a multi-billion-dollar business and I was running this business and I employed you to work at my facility or business, and you misrepresented my name, should I be liable or legal or legally, should I fire you? Should I dismiss you from your work, your obligations, your duties? Because now when you publicize my name, my business, and then associate it with your behavior, is that grounds for me to dismiss you or get rid of you? Now, I'm thinking from the aspect or the point of view from the employer first. Now, if I was employing somebody that misrepresented my brand, I hired you and you misrepresent my brand, I don't think I would want you working at my facility, my place, or any type of thing. I think what I would do is I would fire you immediately. So, do you think people with YouTube pages, this is very key, do you think people with YouTube pages should be allowed to do, say, or act how they want to, even though it's outside of the job or outside of the workplace? Do you think they still should be able to work at your facility knowing, or even in having some of your titles, or even working around or walking around your facility with your name showing, publicizing this is where they work at, and then have these type of videos up that would be slandering kids, slandering families, slandering husbands, wives, and anybody else of the sort? Do you think they should be allowed to work at that facility? Because we're going to do a live call today. If I got time, I might have to start up another one because I got to go make an errand. So I might start up a whole nother one, and that's probably when I'll make that call. And I do have it right here. We're going to be speaking to Miss Jennifer Gibson or Mr. John Shand, all right? Human Resources. So, do you think, as an employer, he has the right, or, and actually I have the employer's, the owner of the whole entire ballpark's name. But do you think they should be able to still work at that place, knowing they're continuing this type of behavior of slander, lies, deceit, hateful speech? That's a good question to ask. Now, let's go to the employees part. Me as the employee, if I did work at a park like that, or did work at a place that has a multi-billion-dollar income generated just hell no. So as the employee, would I be stupid enough to have videos out there talking about people, slandering people, cussing, lying, slandering women with hate speech, slandering families and children? Would I be that stupid enough to do that? Being an employee of $1 billion company? I don't know. I mean, some people are that stupid, but I wouldn't be that stupid. You would walk them out the front door with no pay. Exactly. And I think that if giving the proper, because, it's easy for just the employee or the employer to just Google a name and pull up all this information and all of the slanderous things people do. You know, they do that on Facebook. You know that. That's how they do it now on Facebook. The employer, they can have access to your Facebook to see what kind of stuff you're doing. Have y'all ever heard of that? George Garcias, have you ever heard of the employer being able to have access to? Sometimes they'll ask you for that. Do you mind me having access to your Facebook? Now, with that being said, do you think it would be right for them to have access to YouTube pages with all of the different slanderous things that they may have on there? Because I'm going to make a call and I'm going to ask Human Resources what they think about this. And probably they're going to ask me what am I talking about. And then I might suggest that there might be an employee of theirs that might be subbed in or not that are making slanderous types of accusations against families and husbands and wives and children. I'm just going to ask these questions, not mentioning no names now, but asking these questions. Because I think it's very important. If we're ever going to have unity, we got to find out why people have a lot of hate in their hearts to do these things, but then put themselves in jeopardy with their career. If they even have a career. But we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm going to be in full pursuit in going forward with how I conduct what I do from this point forward. It's not going to be reckless like I know a lot of people can be. I'm going to be meticulous, articulate with how I deal with situations from this point forward. So, for me not to be out of line with unity, I'm going to strategize my plan of actions very meticulously. Yes, I will. I will. And only am I going to do this because me, myself, I support having unity, not hate. And anybody that got hate and that comes against any of my brothers and sisters that I've linked up with, any of my brothers and sisters that I have befriended and have friendships with, I will stand up with them and fight this battle against bullying, harassing, and any of the sort. That's my pursuit. That's going to be part of my fight to stand up for people that have been harassed, bullied, and targeted out. I'm going to be more vicious than the LBGT community when you come against gays. I'm going to be more vicious than the CIA and the government when you talk about the president and threaten the president live. I'm going to be more vicious than all of that with my pursuit. Do believe me. So, I think it's time that we take a closer look at the behavior of people who call themselves successful and call themselves doing well in the mass society, but then when they come to YouTube, they'll take the mask off and then they try to portray themselves as being worse than any villain you ever seen on a cartoon be portrayed or any movie. Just being funny. But we got to get to the bottom of this. We got to know what the employees think. And the only way we'll know what they think is by contacting them. That's the only way we'll know what employees are thinking about their employee. Their employer is thinking about their employees. How their conduct should be out of work. Because you do represent the company when you're out of work. Don't think they don't have the right to pry into your business when you, yourself, supposed to represent them. That's all I'm saying. But sometimes people don't pay that no attention. They don't care because they're so focused on being reckless, they're not understanding how the danger of what they do might affect their inner life. I'm just saying. Oh man, it's getting, man, I might need to play some. Hold on, y'all. Let me get some ballpark theme music. Your sweet place, what's good? Your sweet place, what's good? It's always a pleasure to see you, man. Always. But, alright, so it's always a pleasure to see the people that rock with Ace Corner Talk and Logic Food, Clothing, Shelter, my brother Logic. Unconditionally. But this is a live stream. This is a very serious live stream. Make no mistakes about it. I'm dead serious about what I'm doing in my pursuit to stand up and defend against bullying, against people that are harassing, and any of the sort. I'm very, 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 very serious about this. In my pursuit to get down to how employers deal with employees that do these type of things is going to be very vicious, but in a positive way, because we're trying to bring positivity to this whole entire thing. All right, let me get some music, y'all. Because it's a little bit quiet here. Alright, so check this out. Let's see if we can get a little music to kind of assist us in this here. Alrighty. Let's see what we got. Alright. Alright, y'all. So, my pursuit and my vigilance to go against people that are on YouTube that are harassing other people, harassing families, children, fathers, mothers, wives, or any of the sort. My pursuit to go after individuals that harass and that do things that maybe their employer would frown on. Because when an employer employs somebody, they expect them to have a good character outside of the job and on the job. That's what they expect. So if anybody that is an employee of a multi-billion-dollar company and you're employed there, but then on the outside, on your other life, you're bashing, smashing, talking about people's families and doing all kind of stuff, I don't know. How would they handle that? I want to know why would they tolerate that when they don't have to? There's 1,000 people that need jobs out there. There's thousands of people that are unemployed. But would you think they would tolerate one particular employee that uses social media to harass people, to harass women, call them names, call male names, make up fictitious lies? There's so many things I can go down the chain that why me as an employer, why would I be the one to deal with that type of stuff from an employee if they are doing this in their life? You know what I mean? And my pursuit to defend YouTubers and people that support YouTube pages not to be harassed by other individuals maliciously. That's my goal. That's my goal. My goal is to sort out the behavior of people like that maliciously use their platforms to harm other people and to say harmful things. Yes, I will do that. And we're going to make this call live, y'all. We're going to do it live. But I'm going to open up a live stream and I'm going to allow this conversation to be heard verbatim about what Human Resources thinks about their employees that work at a facility that they are Human Resources, that the Human Resources are part. So we're going to do the call. Trust me. I'm going to do the call. So 216-420-4487. I probably will be speaking to Miss Jennifer Gibson or Mr. John Shand. And That's right. That's right. I appreciate that comment, Mr. George Garcias. I appreciate that comment 100%. See, because people, what they do is they don't think they don't need to be held accountable for what they do. But I beg to differ. They do need to be held accountable for what they say, because harassment on at the school grounds, like if there's a bully harassing people, that type of stuff is serious, y'all. Don't think harassment is not serious. Don't think when you harass and you slander and you do malicious things against people's families that this stuff is something that is not revered as not only insensitive, but at sometimes can be dangerous. What's up? What was that? Good to see you. Don't think that this stuff is not a serious game. You know, we call them trolls, but when you look beyond the trolling, is it borderline harassment? What is it? Because we call it trolls, but what do the society call it? You know, if we was in school doing this on social media, you know, if I was a kid with a YouTube page harassing some school students, don't you know that there could be serious consequences behind that? So what would be the difference between somebody that is employed by a multi-million dollar company doing the same thing? What would be the difference? You tell me. Because if there is no difference between me having a social media page bullying a student, if I was a student myself, why wouldn't it be any consequences for somebody who's employed by a multi-million dollar company but using a page and promoting them, working there, and then harassing and bashing people? How about that? I want to know. Because when I call human resources, I'm going to ask questions first, and then depending on how I feel about how the conversation going, I may go a little deeper with what my intent of the call would be. And my thing now that I'm solely getting on the unity, no hate, I'm combating anything that is hatred and diabolical to the success of our growth on YouTube, growth of my family, or any other particular person's growth. I'm coming to combat this stuff, because if people don't stand up and have a voice and say something and try to at least acknowledge that this type of behavior cannot exist on YouTube, I don't care if individuals have a life being anything other than a bully or harassing, that I don't care. They can be of another they can be homosexual, they can be atheists, they can be devil worshippers, all of that stuff. I can care less. But when it comes to harassment and bullying of families, husbands, wives, and children, and YouTube pages, that's where I draw the line. So I think with the right connections and the right pursuit, I think maybe I will find the results that I'm looking for. And then not only will you see how you deal with things from a sensible approach, y'all. Not going off the fly, making videos about people, not acting ignorant, not doing none of that. I'm talking about making sensible choices about how you deal with situations that arise. And I think that if I'm ever going to be positive, promoting positivity, I got to show people how to deal with things the right way. Because we're about unity, no hate. We're not about bashing families. We're not about bashing people's characters. And if I've done that, I apologize. But from this point forward, that's not how Ace is going to deal with things. Ace is going to deal with things from a moral, from a outstanding point of view and character. That's how I'm dealing with it. You see? Yeah, Flat Earth. If anybody would like to come into the live stream, I got a hangout ready to be open for you to just join the live stream at any given time. Put your email in the chat. I will add you to give comments, to talk, to explain, to whatever you feel like you want to do in response to this particular title and to this particular conversation on this live stream. So if anybody would like to join this particular broadcast, hey, come aboard. Let's do it. Right. So now, let me pause this. All right. So, Flat Earth, you say my boss tries to get personal with me all the time. I hate it. Okay, I understand that, but are you? What do you mean personal with trying to figure out what you do in your everyday life, or then personal with like, hey, how your kids doing, how your mother doing? I mean, there's a fine line when it comes to privacy when you're working for another establishment. Now, if it's a multi-million-dollar company and you're reckless with what you do on the outside, right along with brandishing their logos, brandishing their, any of the sort. Just brandishing that you work for them, being proud of working, and then have a whole nother life where you're just this evil villain, bashing people, slandering women, cursing everybody out, and cursing people's family members and children and all kind of stuff. That's a different thing. So if they are in pursuit or behind you because you're doing these things, then I believe that they shouldn't employ you. I believe you should be immediately fired, dismissed, because you're misrepresenting their brand, which can cause them money, which can cause confusion, which would, in some point of views, believe that they're not assisting, or maybe just co-signing, better word, co-signing the behavior of bullying, slandering, and hateful speech. How about, let's see, I tried to word it so y'all can get a good understanding. You feel me? So, I think that when people do these things, slander, hate, and have all of these things going on, whether it's social media or not, whether you sent a letter in the mail to them or not, it's still hateful. And when you do these things, I don't think anybody should employ you, because you're putting their company, their brand, in jeopardy of having lawsuits put against them. Having lawsuits put against their establishment because you choose to be hateful, choose to say and do whatever you feel you think you can do because you're an American citizen, but not realizing that if you are attaching their brand to what you do on an everyday basis on social media, walking around on the streets with a bullhorn, however you do it, then that's putting their company in jeopardy. I would think so. And Flat Earth says you're their best worker and he rides you. Now, there could be many reasons why they do that. I'm not taking the offense of the employer. I'm just giving some factual information about how I see it and how I'm going to address it from this point forward when I come across these type of things. But what I will say is this. Maybe that employer is trying to get you to a point to bring the best out of you. Not just because you see yourself as being a good employer, but maybe there's something he wants to bring out of you. And the only way he have been trained to do it is to get on your nerves to bring the best out of you. I've seen people use those tactics. No doubt, I appreciate that, Flat Earth. You agree with what I'm saying. So that's all I'm saying. It is maybe, and this is how I look at it sometimes. Maybe they're using a little bit of hardness to get you to bring out the best in you. I've been through that myself in previous times where, they would target me, I felt like, at the time. and do things, and I felt like, man, why are they so hard on me? And then I had at one time, somebody said, well, look, man, it's only because, I said, I wouldn't ride you or do that if I didn't know you didn't have it in you, or if I didn't know you was a good player. So I've had somebody tell me that before I became a manager. So, me personally, when I manage and do things, I don't really ride people too much. I don't ride people and kind of like be real hard on them when it comes to me trying to get them to do things. You know, the first way that anybody can effectively manage somebody is to do it yourself. Okay, oh, wait a minute, man. It'll pop back on. You got to push the play button right there, all right? All right? Say hey to YouTube.
Hey.
Hold on. Say hey to everybody in YouTube.
Hey.
Say what's up.
What's up?
You got to look right here. Look right here. Say what's up.
What's up?
What's good?
What's good?
Say what's up, George Garcias.
What's up, George Garcias?
Say what's up, Flat Earth.
What's up, Flat Earth?
Say what's up, what was that?
What up? What was that?
What was
that?
that? Well, you got to say it too. Say what was that?
What was that?
Look right here in the camera. Say what was that? All right.
What was that?
Yeah, no doubt. Let me see. Say what's up. Did I get everybody? All right. Say what's up, your sweet place.
What's up, your sweet place?
Your sweet place.
What's up, your sweet place?
Say sweet place.
Sweet place.
There you go. Look at the camera and wave to him. What's that right there? What's this?
A field.
A field? What kind of field?
It's a baseball field.
Who told you it was a baseball field?
Nobody.
So, but how'd you come up with that conclusion that it was a baseball field?
I didn't know.
Because you know, but how do you know? I didn't tell you that was a baseball field. But how did you know that was a baseball field?
Because you done put that one on.
Oh, okay. So, what is that right there?
A son of the guy.
Exactly. You know you smart, right?
Yeah.
You're very smart, right?
Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Look at the camera and say, I gotta go watch Curious George, everybody.
I gotta go out to George, everybody.
No doubt.
No.
All right. It's my boy, y'all. That's why I fight hard. People slandering my family, slandering my kids, slandering my wife, slandering everything that I stand for. He's the next generation. And I got to show him how to stand for unity and no hate. I got to show them, my boys, how to stand against bullying, against people who slander their family. I got to, y'all. Got to. This is the future. And if we don't learn that this stuff is not acceptable, we will carry on and close our eyes to it as if this stuff should be normal. Just because somebody screwed up and got some loose cannons going on in their mind does not give them the right to harass, bully, or even slander people's lives, names, or any of the sort. And I'm very serious with my pursuit to combat any of this because I'm standing up for unity, no hate. And if I've ever said anything or ever been serious about anything in my life, this is one thing that I'm going to be very serious in pursuing. By any means necessary, whatever I got to do to take down the threat, I'm going to do it. You can call it what you want. You can classify it what you want. But I'm very serious about taking down any threat against my family and anybody that bullies, harass, or talks about, or makes nasty comments about, which is probably all fair speech, if you want to call it, which probably is. But if they have any type of normalcy in their life, would their employer think it's fair? If they use their brand and use them while they're doing it, or even associate being a part of that particular behavior. So as I continue so if I, me myself, if I continue to allow people to do that and not say anything, then you would think that I would do it. Or you think that I'm co-signing people who do it. Shots fired, you say, as long as while on company time, they conduct themselves appropriately. No, I disagree with you. I think you should have a certain conduct outside the job place when you associate their name with it. I'm not talking about a mom and pop stores. I'm not talking about the local deli. I'm talking about multi-million-dollar companies that you allegedly work for, and you using their brand, their name in videos with their clothing, writing all in their establishment, showing this is where you work, but then you're on the outside, you're bashing, slandering. This is what I'm talking about. And these type of things, I don't think no employer would accept that or would even like that. You know? Right. You shouldn't blow trees in a company shirt. You shouldn't do any of the sort. I mean, all of that is stupid. The behavior is stupid. Because if you're employed, you must not be worried about your job, or you must not be worried about being employed or who you're employed by. But that just shows a lack of concern about your employer and about how you make your money. I mean, some people don't really care about that. But maybe the employer does. So, like I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call live for y'all just to hear how they address these situations. I'm going to talk to them just like I'm talking to you. Because now that I can pinpoint or associate a particular brand with hate speech, I can pursue that. Now, if I want to, I can sue them also, saying that they co-signed. First you got to give them the time to correct the behavior. That's what you got to do. If they don't correct the behavior of the individual employee that's doing this type of behavior, then you go from there to say, you know what? This is grounds for me to sue because they're using they're using the platform of where they work at, publicizing this is where they work at, and you have not done anything about the behavior that they have displayed. Whoa. And you have not done anything about the behavior of that individual employee that on numerous occasions says, this is where I work, this is what I'm a part of, this is what I do, blah, 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 and then turn around and make all kind of hateful speech, say hateful things about children, women, and wives. I don't think you should be employed with them. But I want to find out, though. I want to know. So my pursuit to call 216-420-4487. And I probably will be speaking to Jennifer Gibson or maybe Mr. John Shand. When I talk to them, I'm going to explain the nature of my call and why I'm calling. I'm going to do it live so y'all can hear for yourself how multi-million-dollar businesses deal with these type of individuals. And I'm going to do it when I get back, y'all, because I got to make a run. So I'm going to take my time when I get back and walk down this. I'm going to walk it down. And y'all be able to hear how real employers deal with their employees and the steps that they're willing to take to, let me see, how would you say it? To correct the behavior of their employees that use their name. or any of the sort. I just want to see how they'll deal with it. I don't know. They might just blow it off. But maybe they won't. But we will see, though. Because people think that the employer should not have a say in your life. If they're paying you to some degree, they do have a say in your life. If you murder somebody and you're on trial right now and you go back to work, do you think they have the right to allow you to continue working with murder charges above your head? I don't know. I'm asking questions. These are questions. This whole live stream is about questioning. I'm asking questions to find out, so we can get down to the bottom of hateful people, hateful speech, all kind of hateful things people do to bully other people. So I'm going to stand up and be the voice for people out there, whether they're on YouTube, on the streets, or wherever. I'm going to be that voice. I'm going to stand up today. Today is the day that I stand up. Might not have done it in the past, but give me credit for standing up today, y'all. Today will be the day that we will begin the pursuit of unity, no hate, when it comes to our families, when it comes to our well-being, when it comes to all of these things. This will be the day, y'all. I'm going to start this fight today. All right? Look at the unity, no hate up there. This is what we're going to stand for. Unity, no hate. We're going to promote this so that when people begin to see how the behaviors of other people affect other people, how can we go about correcting the behavior? We got to. I think that people have to learn lessons in life that might be bittersweet. The lessons that people might inquire might be bittersweet lessons, but there has to be a lesson learned. And anytime people harass or anytime people do or say things that is harmful to people in their family, I think they should have consequences behind it. Not just because of YouTube or not just because of all of these other things, but because it's moral and it's right. Just like we would combat anything dealing with racial undertones, that should be the same. It should be along the same lines. That should be along the same lines. Hate speech, hateful speech, slandering, all of that stuff is right along the same line of that stuff. Yeah, no doubt, Nehemiah is definitely a step in the right direction. You know, we today need to realize that we can't accept behavior like this. Now, pardon me if you do, pardon me if you co-sign the behavior or whatever. That's not my position to summons or talk to anybody else about what they co-sign and what they don't. That's not my thing. All right, I'm not here to persuade anybody about who they deal with, what they deal with, none, any of that. My pursuit from this particular point forward will be strictly against people who slander, who put hate out there, and do any of that stuff. That's what my pursuit is. That's what my pursuit for this particular live stream is. So I'm not standing up for people who have been the victors but the victims. I'm not going to get on no live stream from this point forward and do any more defending against what I believe to be right. Because if people don't see the right, if people don't see how this type of behavior damages families, if they don't see that, what else can a person do to show that this is not accepted. You know, how do you think mothers feel when they hear their children being talked about in a hateful way? How do you think a son might feel when he hears his father being slandered and lied on? I mean, come on. These type of things, it goes on. And if we don't address it, and if we don't put a stop to it, people will think they can get away with it, and nothing happens. But like I said, I beg to differ. I don't think the employee has the right to have dangerous behavior like this and no consequences. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I do think that, you know, with the right person talking and influencing, that maybe they might see this as an issue and a problem, and they might deal with it. The consequences might be steep and it might not. I don't know. That's not my job. I'm not an employer of no multi-billion-dollar business. So however they handle things that get reckless, I don't know. But I'm curious to find out. Once you drop names and drop things in a bucket, maybe, I don't know, they might deal with it in the right manner. I don't know. But who knows? They might. And if they do, I'm willing to find out what is the steps and the procedures. Because there's a lot of people that slander on YouTube, and if they have a nice career, maybe they should put their career at jeopardy. Something they worked hard for. Maybe they've been at their job for 4 or 3 years or 2 years or 5 years. Maybe putting their career at jeopardy that they build and worked hard at, like people do with their families. Work hard at their families, work hard at building their families. Maybe if you put their career in jeopardy, you know, maybe they'll think twice before they start slandering people, making videos. I don't know. But we will see, though. We will see. This is not hate. This is unity. This is one man standing up. In order to have unity, it takes one man to stand up. Unity. Unifying. It has to be one person to kick it off. And if I'm not man enough, because people always talk about, I say I'm a man and I'm a man this and I'm a man that. If I'm not man enough to stand up against people who bully and try to intimidate other people, then what do I look like getting on YouTube trying to talk to you about anything? What do I look like? Getting on YouTube telling you this or telling you that or telling you anything of the sort. Why? Why should I get on YouTube and do that? I shouldn't. I should not get on YouTube if I don't have enough galls in me to stand up against this type of hatred, against this type of stuff that people do when it comes to bullying people. I'm not going for it no more. And these are the steps I'm going to take to make sure I rectify and to make sure I get down to the bottom of these issues that we face in our communities, in our YouTube family community, or any other sort. I'm going to make this pursuit my #1 priority, y'all. Because if I'm going to promote anything, I'm going to promote unity first, then no hate. And in order to have unity, when people choose to co-sign, when they choose to be a part, or choose to sign or co-sign anything that has to deal with slandering, hatred, or any of that type of behavior when it comes to people's families, when it comes to people's loved ones, their husbands and wives and children, I'm always going to be against that. Always. Always. Now, if somebody responds to somebody that's doing it, should I, me the person, be mad at somebody for defending their family and stuff? Should I be in pursuit after them for coming back at somebody when it was initiated by somebody else? I don't think so. But you're in the chat. You can tell me if you disagree with that logic that I have. Do you think a person that defends themselves and their family, do you think they have the right to come back at somebody? Come on, chat. Y'all let me know your honest opinion. And if you want to come on live stream, I'll be back. Got to make a quick run, but I'll be back in a minute. And I'm going to open up this live stream and do everything I need to do live, y'all. Make live calls and get down to the bottom of what I feel to be a disruption in our community. And let's see what these employers think about their employees with this type of behavior. So, y'all give me a minute and I'm going to come back and we're going to go right in it. We're going to go dig deep, y'all. We're going to go deep because I had a long talk with my brother Logic, and peace to my brother Logic. The man is a decent brother, man. So Logic called and talked to me yesterday, and he gave me the big well, I'm a little well, maybe see how I was like. All right, I might be 2 years older than Logic, so I can't say he gave me the big brother talk, but in a sense, I do think of him as a big brother and a little brother at the same time. So he gave me one of those talks, all right? And he kind of opened my eyes up to some things. And now that my brother gave me that talk and opened my eyes up, you know, not that I haven't heard other people say things, but in particular, some of the way he worded what he worded, I think I have to take another approach to what I do and how I respond. This is how I have to do it, y'all. And I have some strategies and some ways that I'm going to deal with this stuff. And hopefully y'all be pleased with how I conduct myself from this point forward. I want y'all to hold me accountable if I step out of line. Y'all might not hold everybody else accountable. You might support them. You might go in their chats. You might even big what they're doing up. But for me, I don't rock that way. And even if you choose to be a part of somebody that does that, I can't stop you. But for me to have respect for you and to respect what you do, I don't believe that I would deal with that type of stuff. I don't believe I would deal with a person or even entertain somebody that supports or co-signs the behavior like that. Now, if you're commentating on some things that happen to bring light to see how it can be resolved, I understand. But right. So I think when you rebuttal, just like what was that says, it will just continue the drama. So that's why I'm not going to rebuttal anymore. What I will do is I will begin to dismantle from the inside out. That's the way I need to address things. So when you start dismantling your issues, you won't have the problems. You can't catch a rat unless you put the rat trap out. And the rat is not going to take the bait unless you put the cheese on the trap. So there's going to be process in how you deal with things. And this is how I'm going to take my approach from now on, people. We're going to dismantle our issues from the inside out. And this is how you do real unity. I'm not asking for nobody to rally behind what I'm talking about and what I tend to do. But if you do, I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. But me personally, what I will do is I will go hard as I can for people who have been bullied. I will do that. I will try my best to go deep in against bullying and people who use platforms, social media, mailing, or anything else against people and their families. So I'll see y'all back in about an hour or two. We're going to go deep in this live stream. It's going to be interesting. So I'll see y'all when you get back. Peace. Hey, George Garcia, get your sleep, fam. It's going to be a good one. Get your sleep. All right. See y'all in a minute. Peace.